They expected fear. The arena was built for it. Tall steel walls, burning lights, and thousands of alien eyes waiting to see prey break. When the human woman stepped onto the sand, laughter rolled through the crowd. She was small, soft-looking, no claws, no armor grown into her skin, just a plain combat suit and a tired face. The translators made the insults clear. Weak, easy, prey. Mara Vale heard every word. She didn't answer. She stood still, hands loose at her sides, eyes calm. Her heart did not race. Her breathing stayed slow. Years of war, loss, and survival had burned panic out of her long ago. Across the arena, something shifted. The predator species felt it first. Their bodies reacted before their minds could argue. Spines tightened, muscles coiled. Ancient instincts whispered a warning they hated hearing. Back away. This human was not posturing, not trying to impress. She wasn't angry. She was focused. Myra looked at the blood-stained sand and thought of Earth, of long nights, endless fights, and standing up when she should have fallen. The horn sounded, and for the first time, the predators realized the human wasn't here to survive. She was here to finish something. The gate across the arena slammed open. The crowd roared as the first challenger stepped forward. It was huge, taller than Mara by more than twice her height. Thick armor plates covered its body, marked with scars from past kills. This creature had ended fights in seconds. It smiled when it saw her. Mara did not move. The beast stomped closer, dragging its claws through the sand, enjoying the fear it expected to see. It raised its arms and screamed, a sound meant to freeze prey in place. Myra felt the vibration in her bones. She stayed calm. The horn blared again. The creature charged. In that instant, the world slowed. Mara's eyes tracked every movement. She remembered training in broken cities, fighting when help never came, learning where strength failed and balance mattered more. She stepped aside. The giant's strike cut only air. Mara slid low, fast, and silent. Her blade flashed once. She drove it into a narrow joint beneath the armor, a place no predator ever protected. The creature collapsed with a scream that shattered the cheers. The arena fell silent. Mara rose, breathing steady, blade dark with blood. She didn't look at the fallen enemy. She looked at the others. And for the first time, the predators understood. This human hunted back. Silence ruled the arena. It was not the peaceful kind. It was heavy, tight, filled with disbelief. Thousands of predators stared at the fallen champion on the sand, then slowly lifted their eyes back to the human still standing. Mara Vale wiped the blade on her sleeve. Her hands were steady. The med drones hovered, unsure if they were allowed to enter. No one moved to help the fallen creature. In predator culture, the defeated were already gone, even if their hearts still beat. The crowd waited for Mara to celebrate. She didn't. She stood quietly, shoulders rising and falling, eyes scanning the arena as if the fight was not over. Because to her it was. On Earth, danger never ended just because one enemy fell. Across the arena, the other competitors felt something twist inside them. Predators trusted their instincts more than logic. Instincts had kept their species alive for millions of years, and now those instincts were screaming. This human was wrong. She didn't move like prey. She didn't react like a victor. She didn't show fear or pride. She showed awareness. That was worse. A tall, furred warrior stepped forward, claws flexing. Beside it, another followed. Then another. They exchanged glances, silent agreement forming between them. If they waited, they would lose control of the crowd. If they attacked together, they could end this. The horn sounded again. 3 challengers entered the sand. The cheers returned, louder this time, desperate. The crowd wanted reassurance, wanted the universe to make sense again. 3 against 1, that was balance, that was right. Mara exhaled slowly. Her body hurt already, muscles burned from the sudden movement. Old scars pulled tight. She tasted iron in her mouth. Still, she stepped forward. The first attacker lunged, fast and low. The second circled wide. The third stayed back, watching, learning. Mara noticed all of it. She let the first come close, closer than comfort allowed. At the last moment she turned, letting its weight carry it past her. Its claws missed her throat by inches. The second struck immediately. Pain exploded across her ribs as she was hit and thrown to the ground. The crowd roared again, relief flooding their voices. Mara rolled before the third could strike. She pushed herself up, breathing hard now, but her eyes were sharp. Pain was familiar. She had learned long ago not to fear it. The first attacker charged again, reckless now, angry. Mara met it halfway. Steel met flesh. She cut deep, not to kill, but to slow. The creature screamed and stumbled back. The second attacked from behind. Mara felt it coming. She dropped flat, letting claws rake only air. She kicked backward, hard, into a knee joint. The sound of bones snapping echoed through the arena. The third finally moved. This one was careful. It watched her breathing, counted her steps, looked for weakness. Mara saw its eyes narrow. She smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was tired, sad, determined. She rushed forward, feinting left, then rolled right, coming up inside its reach. Her blade flashed twice. The creature staggered, stunned, alive, but out of the fight. The first challenger tried to flee. That was when panic truly began. Predators did not run. Mara caught it by the arm, twisted, and slammed it into the sand. She held it there, blade pressed close, not cutting. The message was clear. She let it go. The crowd did not cheer. They whispered. Across the arena, elders leaned forward. Commanders exchanged looks. Scientists stared at data screens showing heart rates, reaction times, stress levels. The humans' readings were wrong. She was injured, outnumbered, bleeding. Yet her focus had sharpened. On Earth, humans had hunted creatures far larger than themselves, not with strength, with patience, with planning, with the knowledge that endurance beats power in the end. Another horn sounded. This time, 4 stepped forward. Mara closed her eyes for half a second. She thought of rain-soaked streets, of friends lost, of nights when she had stood alone, shaking, and chosen to stand anyway. She opened her eyes. The 4 attacked together. This time she was overwhelmed. A blow knocked her down. Another slammed into her back. She felt something crack. Her breath left her in a sharp gasp. The crowd surged to its feet. Mara lay still. For one terrible moment, even the predators felt relief. Then she moved. She rolled, grabbed a fallen weapon, and drove it upward. One attacker fell. She scrambled to her feet, blood running down her face, vision blurring. Another strike caught her shoulder. She screamed, not in fear, but effort, and used the momentum to throw her enemy off balance. She was slower now, but she did not stop. She adapted. She used broken bodies as cover. She baited attacks. She forced mistakes. One by one, the 4 fell, some unconscious, some screaming, none dead. When the last collapsed, Mara dropped to one knee. Her chest heaved. Her hands shook for the first time. But she was still standing. The arena did not erupt. It withdrew. Predators leaned back, uneasy. Children clutched elders. Warriors looked at their claws as if seeing them for the first time. This was not a display of dominance. This was survival made violent. The council's voice echoed through the arena, forced calm layered over rising fear. "Human combatant, do you yield?" Mara looked up slowly. Her face was bloodied, her body screamed for rest, but her eyes were clear. "No," she said. Simple, quiet. The predators understood then. This was not a test to her. It was a memory. And whatever came next, she would face it the same way humans always had. By refusing to stop, they stopped pretending it was fair. The gates opened again, wider this time. 5 predators stepped onto the sand together. They moved as one, a trained pack, silent and focused. No roars, no threats, only intent. Mara pushed herself fully upright. Her legs shook. Blood dripped from her chin onto the sand. Every breath hurt. Still, she raised her blade. She knew this moment. On Earth, this was where people fell. The pack spread out, cutting off escape. One rushed her head-on. 2 circled. 2 waited for her to break. The first strike sent her flying. She hit the ground hard. Pain flashed white. For a second, darkness pulled at her vision. "Get up." She rolled as claws struck where her head had been. She rose, slower now, but still moving. She slashed low, crippling one leg. A scream followed. Another blow cracked against her back. She gasped, stumbled, but stayed on her feet. She used the pack against itself. Let them collide, forced mistakes. Every movement was effort, every step cost something. One by one, the pack fell. When the last predator backed away, trembling, Mara stood alone again. Broken, bleeding. Unbowed, the arena doors opened one final time. The ground trembled as the Apex champion entered. It was massive, ancient, and scarred by victories across many worlds. This was not a fighter meant for sport. It was a weapon. The crowd fell silent. Mara felt fear at last. It was cold and sharp, cutting through the pain. She welcomed it. Fear meant she was still alive. The Apex stopped a few steps away. It studied her. Mara's knees threatened to give out, her vision blurred. Blood soaked her sleeve. Still, she lifted her chin. The Apex hesitated. That moment of doubt was its first mistake. Mara moved first. She ran every step, screaming in protest. The Apex struck, sending her rolling across the sand. She crashed, gasping, but forced herself up again. The fight was brutal. She was thrown, crushed, and slammed into the ground. Each time she stood. Not because she was stronger, because she refused to fall. At last, the Apex stumbled. Mara drove her blade in, pinning it. She stood over the fallen giant, shaking, breathing hard. Then she stepped back. "I'm still here," she said softly. And the arena understood what that meant. No one spoke. The Apex champion lay still, pinned and breathing, its defeat clear to every species watching. The arena, once loud and hungry, felt small now, afraid. Mara Vale swayed where she stood. Med-drones rushed forward, but she raised one shaking hand, stopping them. She needed a moment, not to be healed, but to be seen. She turned slowly, facing the crowd. Her armor was torn, her body was bruised and broken. Blood streaked her face, yet her eyes held no triumph, no rage. Only resolve. The predators watched her with new understanding. They had measured strength by size, speed, and fear, but the human had shown them something older. Endurance. She had been outmatched from the start, outnumbered, wounded again and again. Still she stood. Not because she enjoyed violence, but because giving up had never saved her species. The council members whispered urgently. Records were being rewritten in real time. Assessments changed. Threat levels rose. Humans were not prey. They were survivors who kept fighting long after logic said stop. Mara finally lowered her head, exhaustion catching up. But she did not collapse. She walked away from the sand on her own feet. And the predators made room for her without being told. Part 6, what predators finally saw. No one spoke. The Apex champion lay still, pinned and breathing, its defeat clear to every species watching. The arena, once loud and hungry, felt small now, afraid. Mara Vale swayed where she stood. Med-drones rushed forward, but she raised one shaking hand, stopping them. She needed a moment, not to be healed, but to be seen. She turned slowly, facing the crowd. Her armor was torn, her body was bruised and broken. Blood streaked her face, yet her eyes held no triumph, no rage. Only resolve. The predators watched her with new understanding. They had measured strength by size, speed, and fear, but the human had shown them something older. Endurance. She had been outmatched from the start, outnumbered, wounded again and again. Still she stood. Not because she enjoyed violence, but because giving up had never saved her species. The council members whispered urgently. Records were being rewritten in real time. Assessments changed. Threat levels rose. Humans were not prey. They were survivors who kept fighting long after logic said stop. Mara finally lowered her head, exhaustion catching up. But she did not collapse. She walked away from the sand on her own feet. And the predators made room for her without being told. Long after the arena was cleaned and the blood washed away, the story remained. It spread from world to world, carried by traders, soldiers, and frightened observers. Each telling changed a little, but the lesson stayed the same. The human did not roar. She did not threaten. She did not celebrate. She endured. In predator cultures, the elders began teaching a new rule, not written in law but carved into instinct. When a human stays calm, they told the young. When they do not answer your insults, when their eyes stay focused. Back away, because that silence is not weakness. It is preparation. Mara Vale returned to Earth with scars that would never fade. She became a name spoken with respect and caution, not a conqueror, not a monster. A reminder. Humans were not the strongest species in the stars. They were not the fastest or the deadliest at first glance. They were the ones who stood back up, who kept moving when bones broke and hope ran thin, who finished fights others thought were already lost. And deep in the dark of space, predators learned a truth older than the stars themselves. The most dangerous hunter is not the one who shows its teeth. It is the one who decides, quietly, that it will survive.